So Geneva will boot it away. Andrew Dowler got his hand in the air, and the lefty boots it in. And that is Lynch, who got the fingertips on it, but recovers and will return it from about the 12. He's out across the 25 to the 30. He's to the 40 and reeled out of bounds there. The stop made by Kyle Burgess of the Tornadoes, and an excellent return by Lynch, and maybe the spark plug that the Spartans were looking for. Lynch has returned 9 kickoffs this season and nearly notches 20 yards per return, and that one was right at about his season average, maybe a little bit more. But just 59 passing yards for Rob Kuda. He only threw 9 passes total in the first half. So the Spartans gonna want Rob Kuda to heat up here as they trail it 7-6. The inside tuck, Burke bounces off of his left guard. Second effort doesn't get him much. He is gonna be pushed backwards. And a jolt of enthusiasm comes into the defense of the Tornadoes as Burke did not have a hole there. Well, the Tornadoes defense has really had a strong year. They are statistically the 3rd best defense in the conference, and they do an excellent job in that 3-4 set. Couple extra defensive backs in there this time, however. It's Kuda rolling out to his right. Wants Lynch and finds Lynch. Not going to be enough for a first down, but moves the ball to about the 45-yard line. And sometimes it's passes like these that you wouldn't think would really do much for a team, only setting up 3rd down and 3. However, sometimes for a quarterback, it only takes a pass or two to get in that rhythm and just find your stride. But it is 3rd down. They will need 3 yards, 4 receivers on the field. Lynch again, the short little comeback route. He is going to have a first down and change as they move the ball into Geneva territory. They will hurry it back to the line, and this is the Spartan offense we're used to seeing. It is Burke off of left tackle and was stopped quickly there by the Tornado linebacking core. Spartans offense features 2 of the top 10 rushers in the pack, and Burke is one of them. Kuda is the other. Kuda faked the throw. Now he's going to take off and dive in between the tackles there. Kuda lowered his shoulder and got the first down and then some. Kuda just 6'1", 195, but he has no problem whatsoever with getting down in the trenches. First down from the 32. It's Kuda again, the same route. Lynch made one guy miss, falls forward. And it's going to be close to a first down. The chains have not moved just yet, but the replay shows that that is one of Lynch's favorite routes to run, the simple comeback route. Nothing complex about it. Burke is frozen. Couple different numbers in there for Geneva. One of them, Jamarcus Brumskin, and the other, Austin Mirazio, senior linebacker, made the tackle. So 3 receiver set. That's Fan, the lone receiver, wide left. And in the slot at the bottom of your screen, Brendan Lynch. They go with Burke, the very sturdy, reliable runner. Going to be tough to tell. Depends on the spot. The Spartan line got a push, but was it enough? See Burke leaping over the pile there, trying to extend the play. And based on the reaction from the Spartan crowd, I do believe we have a brand new set of downs. They've got first down on the scoreboard, but they've got 4th down on the chains. Now they've changed the chains to first down. It's at the 22. Kuda looking left, now looking straight up the middle, and is crunched in between 2 tacklers. Again, Brumskin is in there. and company to stop Kuda. Kuda on the year, 444 rushing yards prior to today. Burke, 686 yards. So you've got well over 1,000 yards between the two. As Kuda again in that 4-receiver set where you've got 3 receivers on the near side. Kuda looks, going to take off again, gets 1 block, gets a 2nd block inside the 10. Kuda to the 5. And another big play made for Kuda as he has his Spartan offense marching down the field in pursuit of another score. As Greg Debelak mentioned before, Geneva is going to choose to take one thing away. They only get one choice. They can only take one thing away. They took away the pass there, so Kuda ran with it and got it all the way to the 5. Rolling out to his right is Rob Kuda. Taking a look, and he will toss it away. We talked earlier about the football smarts of Rob Kuda, and nobody is home, so no need to take the risk there, especially on 1st down. I think a quarterback is going to be much less likely to make a riskier throw on an early down. If it's 3rd down or 4th down, then he might be more likely to try to squeeze a pass into a tight window. But let your offense live on because you've got one of the best running games in the conference, and you've got 2, potentially 3 more tries at it. 2 tailbacks in there. The fullback, Aguilar, comes into the game and whistles blown. And Greg Debelak has elected to take an early timeout with 10:25 to go. The Spartans want to talk it over. They are trailing 7-6, but in pursuit of a score. We'll find out if the Spartans punch it in for a touchdown, and we'll take a short break.
Everyone loves a comeback, right? Especially when that comeback is Queso Diablo from Qdoba, full of spicy satisfaction to take you straight to queso bliss. That fiery, smoky sensation you've been craving has returned. Celebrate the comeback of Queso Diablo, available now and for an infinite time, only at Qdoba Mexican Grill.
Another good look at the American flag at the northern end zone, as we do have winds at one point that were gusting over 20 miles an hour, but the wind has died down to some extent. Greg Debelak, in his 13th season with the Spartans, elected to take an early timeout here. I just wanted to make sure that his Spartans were on the same page because we have a feeling this is going to be a low-scoring affair. So if you have a red zone opportunity, you have to cash in. Kuda, the keeper, taken down from behind. Austin Maurizio, again, the senior linebacker, showing some great leadership and stopped Kuda before he could do any damage. So the Spartans' lone touchdown came in the second quarter. It was a touchdown run by Jacob Burke. They missed the point after, so they trail it 7-6 as we are now 5 minutes past in quarter number 3. Kuda spreading things out. Lynch is at the top of your screen. Aguilar is alongside Kuda. Kuda rifles one of the end zone. A slide and a catch. It is a Spartan touchdown. It is Joey Spitali sliding in there, where the Spartans have their first lead of the night. Kuda receives that snap, and he knew right where he was going from the get-go. To the back of the end zone, it is Spitali. And we talk so much about Lynch and company. Well, the Spartans are utilizing their depth at wide receiver. Carnial, the PAT. And he drilled that one, giving the Spartans a 13-7 lead. They are on top and in the driver's seat with 9:41 to play. A chilly autumn night here at Spartanville. We'll be right back in a moment.
In search of an extraordinary dining experience where you're certain to enjoy the ambiance as well as the menu? Table 45 Restaurant and Bar is the award-winning mixed culture restaurant located at the Intercontinental Cleveland. offering cuisine from around the world created by accomplished local chef Zach Brule. Open every day, the atmosphere at Table 45 is relaxed yet inspiring with weekday chill-out happy hours, a behind-the-scenes chef's table, and outdoor dining on Patio 45. Call for more details or reservations at 216-707-4045 or visit us at tbl45.com or on Facebook.
Well, tonight is one of those perfect nights for a nice warm coffee or a nice warm glass of apple cider. Just about anything warm would do it if you're down on the field. Chilly autumn evening, but the Spartans have the lead for the first time as Geneva going to field that relatively short kick, and they are going to have excellent starting field position. Justin Lurie, the freshman, fielded that kick from the 30, brought it all the way back to the 45-yard line of Geneva. And this is a Spartan defense who we mentioned before. They were on the field for 21 minutes in the first half, so they are far from rested at this point, but they did come away with that big fourth down stop on Geneva's last possession, so that's a big confidence booster. Triple option again. Gets Geneva to the center logo as handing the ball off was number 13, Brian Stafford. Like to correct that error from the first half. It is Stafford who wears the number 13. And, well, everybody, the Spartan offense really just was not able to establish themselves in the first half, but thanks to the touchdown pass by Kuda, the Spartans have the lead once again. As Geneva, they're just 2-4, but they can be deceiving. And there's a big stop by Case Western Reserve. Ian Henderson leading the way. How about the youth of the Spartan front three? You've got Cameron Brown, sophomore out of Westlake. You've got Ian Henderson, a sophomore from Detroit, Michigan. And Jason Lockamy, the other starting defensive end, is just in his third year. So they have some kind of a future, those three guys do. It is 3rd down and 6, and Geneva has had success on 3rd down. They were 4 of 8 in the first 2 quarters. But the Spartans deny the 3rd down this time. Well, that is really a key to the Spartan defensive effort in the second half. Just get off of the field. Do not allow 3rd down conversions, and if you're able to do that, you're going to be in a pretty good position. Geneva also made 3 attempts in short yardage. And another 4th down try here. They're going to need 5 yards. Last time they tried to draw a case off sides, and they were successful at it early in the first quarter. And another flag comes from the back judge. It's Robert Silver tossing the penalty flag. Well, now, as you can see with the number of bodies coming off the field, now it is pretty pertinent that Geneva is going to punt this one away. I do believe it was the first 4th down attempt that the Tornadoes made, and they drew the Spartans off sides. They did have an interception by Quan, however, but the pick was wiped out. And now Geneva's got to punt it away. It's Robert Fish, the freshman out of Warren, Ohio, booting it away. And he gets great distance on this one. It is Fan. Oh, he was drilled hard, but he is still alive. Across the 10, across the 20, and out of bounds there. Fan nearly broke free, but he was patrolling along the Geneva sideline. Well, that could have been bad for the Spartans right there, but somehow the small and elusive Fan was able to stick around and make that play interesting. If you remember, going back to week 1, Fan had that amazing 85-yard kick return for a touchdown. That play is up for Play of the Year, and you can vote for that, I believe, on d3football.com. Is a strong nominee. Kuda with a handoff. Burke is dragging a couple of defenders with him, but not going to gain much there. Again, the Tornado defense has not given up much room in between the tackles. If the Spartans have gotten long runs, it's been to the outsides. They've got a solid linebacking core. Showing blitz. Great blitz pickup by the Spartans. Now there is pressure on Kuda. Has to throw it and gets it away and completes it. They will move the chains as it is Zach Hurd, his first catch of the day, and it gives the Spartans a new set of downs. Kuda so good at extending the play and avoiding the pressure, able to get the Spartans that first. As Geneva well prepared for the run that time as the Spartans tried to catch him off guard. In tonight's game, the clock has really, really moved with authority. It feels like the third quarter just started, but we have now fewer than 6 minutes to play. We are already in the third quarter, and that's what happens when you get involved in a tight game with two running offenses. As Kuda rifles one near side, it is Hunter Tulloch, the second-year man. That is his first catch of the drive. Hurd has his first moments ago. And now Hunter Tulloch is on the stat sheet with his first catch. But he was a yard short, however. Joey Spitali on your screen, giving Kuda a look. Receiving the play call as he's one of three receivers on the top of your screen. It's third down and a yard from the 41. Kuda tipped but caught. Lynch was at the right place at the right time, and the Spartans continue the drive. Well, sometimes just the luck of the draw right there. And Geneva got a hand on it, but Lynch showed some great concentration. Spartans ahead by 6, less than 5 minutes to go. They are looking for more. Kuda is going to run, going behind his left tackle and brushed backwards. John Fiskus, the leading tackler for Geneva, adding another tackle to his total. Well, Kuda is no stranger to running the ball over 10 times a game. He's now gone near 10 carries here in the third quarter, and we will definitely see more by the end of the night. Another long drive for Case. Kuda behind center. Scanning the field. He's going to take off inside the 40. Big block inside the 30. Cuts it back to the 25. Kuda's at the 20. He's still up to the 15. Still going is Kuda. And that is one of the longest runs of the night. It is Kuda right there. It started at the center logo, and all of the pieces fell into place. A 36-yard scamper by the junior quarterback of the Spartans. And he just proved right there, he tried to go for an ankle tackle. That's not going to work. He leaped right over him. Burke trying to change direction, but nobody was home right there. Burke was buried in the backfield right there by the front seven of the Tornadoes. As we have seen so many times before, the Spartan offense so effective at running the 2-minute offense, but here I think they are purposely trying to slow down the pace at which they call plays to try to do the same thing that Geneva has done, and that is burn some serious minutes on that really long first drive. Kuda gives the receiving core a look. Now is going to run to the right. He will slide down and avoid a potential big hit right there. Jimmy Quinlan, fourth-year man from Brookfield, Ohio, brings him down. Well, you can tell when Kudo wants to run, and he will tuck it into that right hand and take off. But that time, Geneva covered sideline to sideline. Another big play coming up here. 3rd down, 6 to go, approaching the 2-minute mark. Spartans trying to add to their 6-point lead. Kudo looking right. Pump fake. Throws it again. Threw it a little bit behind his man, and it falls to the ground. He tried to hook up with his favorite target, Brendan Lynch. Lynch has only 3 catches here today, but that one would have been a big one, and now the Spartans are going to have to settle for 3. Ben Carniol, 5 field goal attempts on the year. He has converted 3 of them. This will be about a 30-yard attempt in which he is 1 of 1. Snap, the hold, and the kick, and booted through by Carniol. 3 more points to the Spartan total thanks to the well-kicked field goal by Carniol. And there's a good look. It's the Spartans 16 and the Golden Tornadoes 7 with 1:48 to play. The conclusion of the 3rd quarter coming up in a minute.
Everyone loves a comeback, right? Especially when that comeback is Queso Diablo from Qdoba, full of spicy satisfaction to take you straight to queso bliss. That fiery, smoky sensation you've been craving has returned. Celebrate the comeback of Queso Diablo, available now and for an infinite time, only at Qdoba Mexican Grill.
Ben Carniol now 4 of 6 for Case Western Reserve in kicking field goals, and he's about to put this one in the air. As we will go back to action here at DeSanto Field, home of the Spartans. Their return across the 30. And a pretty good burst of speed right there, as going ahead with a full head of steam was Nick Monteleone. 2nd-year man. Had a couple of blocks, as you saw right there, and a really nifty little spin move that kept that return alive. Well, finally, the Spartan defense has been able to get some rest. They had their work cut out for them and had to do some heavy lifting in the first half, but this is the first time in a while in which we have seen the Golden Tornadoes offense come back onto the field. Led by Brian Stafford. He is under center with 2 receivers to his right. And dragging a few tacklers, Trayvon Marshall, the leading rusher, getting the bulk of the carries here today. Well, as unpredictable, rather, as the triple option for the Golden Tornadoes is, you do know that the one constant is that Marshall is the go-to guy. So the 6-yard scamper by Marshall makes it 2nd down and 4 near midfield. Trips on the right side and a hole for Marshall. He will go across the 50 and near the 40. And Marshall had a little bit of room to work with that time, and he took full advantage. Couple high fives for Marshall as Geneva has, once again, another 1st down. .40 seconds to play. Spartans with a 3-3-5 defense. They subbed a linebacker for a defensive back. And there's Cameron Brown, tried to rip the ball loose right there. There's another good look at the run by Marshall. He is a very very quick little running back. 5'10", 175 pounds. Spartans definitely don't want him to get free. Clock is ticking, 5 seconds to go. Will they get another play off before the end of the quarter? They will not. And we will switch sides as the fourth quarter will begin. The Spartans are in front 16-7. They're trying to push their record to 7-0. The fourth quarter and more coming up in just a minute.
Inspired by the 60s, Dave's Cosmic Subs is spreading love around the world one sub at a time. Voted the best in Cleveland, Dave's Cosmic Subs uses only the freshest ingredients, all wrapped in the history of rock and roll. Dave's Cosmic Subs are perfect for any occasion, especially your next Spartan athletics gathering. Visit Dave's Cosmic Subs Coventry or call 216-320-0330 for delivery. There's only one legendary sub, and that's Dave's.
There's the Spartans home field right there, DeSanto Field, the logo on the near side of the stadium. As the Spartans have 44 first place votes and are only 2 teams away from potentially getting into the top 25. Well, if you're outside, hope you've got a warm jacket or a fleece or something to keep you nice and warm, as it is a chilly autumn night. And the Spartans are going to get a stop here, as everybody was in on that stop. I think it was pretty clear the Spartan defense had enough of Trayvon Marshall. He had that 15 or so yard run moments ago, but he was absolutely shut down that time. You can hear some displeasure coming from the Spartan faithful, but they spotted the ball a yard past the original line of scrimmage. He went nowhere but backwards there, but they did give him a yard of forward progress. It'll make it 3rd down and 9. Rolling out to the left, it is Stafford. He's going to tech it and run, and he's going to be well short. Spartans are able to cover the length of the field there, and a host of Spartans were in on the stop. Well, you can see the speed. Think he wanted to throw maybe for just an instant right there, but Spartans coming up with that big stop yet again. Shannon Demery having a pretty good game at linebacker, and he's one of the lone starting linebackers available for Case Western Reserve, has had a couple of injuries at that position. 4th down coming up. Geneva going to roll the dice yet again, and a whistle blown. And that is a good sign, as Geneva has gone for it on numerous occasions, but this will really make that a difficult decision to stick with here. And they will wisely bring the punting unit onto the field. Well, it seems as if they've needed 5 yards or less in terms of trying to go for the 4th down, the Tornadoes have not neglected to go for it, but anything 10 or more, be very wise to boot it away. High kick, fair catch called for by Fan. He is at his own 12, and it will be down there. 13:10 to play. We'll take a timeout here on the Spartans Broadcasting Network. They have a 9-point lead.
In search of an extraordinary dining experience where you're certain to enjoy the ambiance as well as the menu? Table 45 Restaurant and Bar is the award-winning mixed culture restaurant located at the Intercontinental Cleveland, offering cuisine from around the world created by accomplished local chef Zach Brule. Open every day, the atmosphere at Table 45 is relaxed yet inspiring with weekday chill-out happy hours, a behind-the-scenes chef's table, and outdoor dining on Patio 45. Call for more details or reservations at 216-707-4045 or visit us at tbl45.com or on Facebook.
Back to action we go here. Another quarterback keeper. It is Rob Kuda going in between the tackles, and at least it will keep the clock moving, as we have had a very run-heavy game on both sides. The Golden Tornadoes are a team that typically do play lower scoring games just due to the fact that the clock always moves. Now the Spartans trying to give Geneva a dosage of their own medicine. Kuda handing it off once again. In between the tackles they go. It is Burke. Burke has a touchdown to his credit, but yardage-wise, Geneva has held him to well under his average yards per game. But having the ball for only 8 minutes and 58 seconds in the first half can kind of be tough to get you in a groove here. They need 2 yards. This is going to be a important third down to convert here for Case Western Reserve. Pressure up the middle. Kuda out to the side. It is Lynch, and Lynch should have enough. He goes beyond the 25, down at about the 26-yard line. And it is little simple routes like this. It's not a bubble screen because there's only one blocker out there, but was effective enough, and Lynch was able to continue the drive for the Spartans. Kuda will give Debelak and company a look. 3 down linemen for Geneva. It is another run. Burke spinning around and dragged down right at the 30-yard line. So hard to believe that Burke only ran the ball 9 times all of last season. But after the first couple of games, he really started to find his zone and be an effective runner. And he is now one of the top rushers in the Pac Conference, and also has a dozen touchdowns on the year, including one today. Kuda scrambling, throwing, nearly picked off. And an opportunity, it was Austin Jacobson, the junior safety, stepped in the way of that throw. Kuda didn't get a great spiral on that one either, but luckily, those types of throws near the sideline, those are really hard to intercept. But it was a really smart play by Jacobson stepping in the way there. So again, the Spartans need a third down conversion. They are 7 yards away from the marker, with the clock stopped at 10:53 to go. They only rush 3. Kuda has all kinds of time, throws high and over everyone. Jimmy Quinlan may have gotten a hand on that for the Tornadoes, but Kuda's pass just had a little too much muscle on it. Looked like it was Justin Fan who he tried to connect with, but a Spartans punt is upcoming. And Jacob Burke is going to stay on the field. He is the Spartans punter. But I really wouldn't expect anything too surprising here as they are inside their own territory. Perfect snap and a good boot from Burke. This will go inside the 40, inside the 30, still going all the way down the sideline. How about that punt by Jacob Burke? Gonna get another look at it, and he uses all of that left leg right there. Burke's season long for punts is 53, so he has done it before. And that one would be in the ballpark of 50 yards or more. 10:38 to play. We are in quarter number 4. Golden Tornadoes have only one score to show for their game today. And we have another whistle blown. False start on the offense. Penalties have been a problem for Geneva this year. 31 that have cost them 250 total yards of offense. And in an offense with virtually no passing game, 5 yards of penalties here and there are really magnified because you just don't have the passing game that can get you 15 to 20 to 30 yards every now and then. But they stay committed to the triple option, as we only saw 2 pass attempts by Geneva in the first half, and both were by Brian Stafford. So the clock on the move once again. The Spartan defense really were challenged by the Geneva offense, just something that they have never seen before. Possibly a pass this time, but Stafford is going to keep it, comes to the near sideline. And the stop made by Demery. Demery has really had a quite a track meet of a game here today, chasing the runners down. But Stafford had a hole, and it has seemed to me that the big holes for both teams have happened on the outsides. But they did throw the penalty at first, as you saw in the corner of the replay. But they are going to waive the penalty on Demery. So the Spartans catch a break right there off of what could have been a late hit on the quarterback. And it is time for the Spartans to make some noise. It's 3rd down, a yard to go. Inside of 10 minutes to play, the Spartans defending a 16-7 lead. Geneva has had success on 3rd down and short, but the Spartan defense has been outstanding. Having a word with the umpire, Anthony Manco, as the clock did stop. And now they are going to blow the whistle and put the ball in play. Just having a word with the center, Chris Johns. They need a yard. The ball is on the ground and picked up by who other than Cameron Brown. The young sophomore, the former Westlake Demon, has demonized the the offense of Geneva, and comes up with the fumble. It is the 3rd fumble today by Geneva, but only the first that they have lost. And penalties on both sides, it does appear. So one was after the play was over, but the Spartan offense gets it either way, and that's the important thing. So in this low-scoring game, Spartans are scoring well under their season average. They usually get 45 points a game, but this has just been a different beast that the Spartans are up against here today in the Golden Tornadoes. Ball at the Geneva 45. Excellent starting field position. Kuda steps up in the pocket, now steps back, out to his right, rifles it complete to Fan. And Fan may have enough for the first on the second effort. Well, we'll get a second look at it, and Kuda had great protection until right about here. That was Skylar Cron applying the pressure, but Fan does a good job with 2 hands on it. And Justin Fan has become a much more reliable receiver over the coming weeks. It's excellent that they've been able to utilize him in the passing game, because he is too good not to touch the ball, especially in the open field. Another Spartan first down. Lynch is in there along with Joey Spitali at the bottom of your screen. Kuda looking left. Has some room. He's going to run. Had a block. The block that sprung him free came from Stephen Bakke, the sophomore out of Berea, Ohio. As Kuda takes off and runs with it once again. Not a bad block from the center, Gage Blair, stepping up and putting a body on a man there. So Greg Debelak's group is working with a 9-point lead, but they will be pushed back a couple of yards. Another penalty coming against Case Western Reserve there. They spot the ball at the 42. Well, as long as the Spartans can continue with an effective running game, they should be in good shape for this one. They have gone with a very similar formation, but it's going to be a pass. No, it's a run. It's Kuda again, the quarterback keeper. And we'll get some of those yards back and a little bit more. He's spotted down at about the 30. Well, the formation that starts out with 4 receivers, the Spartans are really trying to sell the pass, but they have stayed committed to the run despite it. Same formation again. Lynch in the slot, along with Zach Hurd. Spitali on the near side as well. Kuda, another run. And Kuda has another new set of downs. They just continue to find ways to move the chains while keeping the ball on the ground. The thing about Rob Kuda, and we've mentioned this throughout the course of the season on the broadcast, Kuda does not hide the fact that he's running. And really this season he hasn't had to. They spot it at the Tornado 21-yard line. And a hole for Aguilar. But a flag down. Aguilar got inside the 10, well inside the 10-yard line. But this one is likely to come back. Aguilar all the way from Orange, California. Going to have that run wiped out by a Spartan penalty of the offensive line. Janice Workland, the referee, will put that flag back in his pocket. And it's just so important if you're going to stay committed to the run that penalties do not happen, because penalties affect a running game much more than they do a passing game. So Aguilar is going to stay behind Kuda. And Aguilar is going to get another carry. Inside the 30. Approaching the 27, maybe the 26-yard line. As the Spartans really have not been just a two-headed monster this season. We know all about Kuda. We know all about Jacob Burke. But they've got other guys that can run. In fact, they have nearly 3 other runners who have already ran for 100 yards. Aguilar is one of them. He's got 123. The pass to Lynch. It's the bubble screen to the outside. He's to the 20 and inside the 20-yard line. As Lynch reeling in another pass. He is the favorite target of Rob Kuda. Give Lynch some space and he's going to make you pay. But Geneva has done an excellent job of tackling the Spartans wide receivers here tonight. Really no big plays in the passing game for either team, but that really wasn't much of a surprise, especially for Geneva. Only threw the ball 2 times in the first half. 3rd down and 8. Kuda on the handoff. Aguilar is tripped up. The big stop made by Skylar Cron, the sophomore linebacker, forcing 4th down on the Spartans. And another decision to make. Well, if you're Greg Debelak and the Spartans, you have a little bit of flexibility here because the clock is running. You've got a 9-point lead. And if you go for it and you miss it, there's really no damage, no harm done either way. So they're going to let the clock continue to run. We're inside of 5.5 to go. And they will take a timeout. So we'll step aside for a moment. The Spartans have a 16-7 lead. We're at the tail end of the fourth quarter. Come on back right after this short break.
Everyone loves a comeback, right? Especially when that comeback is Queso Diablo from Qdoba, full of spicy satisfaction to take you straight to queso bliss. That fiery, smoky sensation you've been craving has returned. Celebrate the comeback of Queso Diablo, available now and for an infinite time, only at Qdoba Mexican Grill.
16-7, the Spartans in front. Under 5.5 minutes to go. Spartans with some flexibility here, despite it being fourth down. Offense is going to stay on the field. And why not? With Rob Kuda in that shotgun formation. One of the most versatile quarterbacks in the entire conference. Again, the same formation. 4 receivers on the field. The lone receiver at the bottom of your screen, Joey Spitali. Lynch is in the slot opposite him. Tossing it up for the end zone. They went for it all, and it was incomplete. It was Spitali, the lone man near side. Kuda with an excellent pump fake. See the nice tight spiral right there, but kudos to the coverage unit. Tim Martin making an excellent play for Geneva and forcing the Spartan offense off of the field on the failed fourth down conversion. Well, we may have mentioned this earlier in the broadcast, but because of the triple option, the one thing that hurts you about it is you're really not built to come from behind. Luckily enough for Geneva, though, there's still over 5 minutes to go. It's a quarterback keeper. Slightly ahead of the pack, and he will dive down to the 25-yard line. We got a good look at one of the quarterbacks for Geneva warming up on the sideline. It was Devin Kolaski throwing passes. We saw him earlier on. And he is in there trying to be the spark plug for the Tornadoes offense. Pressure. Tried to make that throw. Here comes the Spartan defense and tracked down. It was Demery again having himself an excellent game at linebacker, fighting off the blocker and pulling him down near the sideline. Well, the Spartans really needed a big performance by Demery today with the injury to Andrew Benathi. Demery has really stepped up big. Third-year man out of Woodbridge, Virginia. Under center, Kolaski. And no secret there, Spartan defense saw that one coming. They stuffed the run yet again. Well, the one thing the Spartans have gotten better at over the course of the game is winning on first and second down. Forces a 3rd down and 2 as the clock again continues to run inside of 4 minutes to go. Geneva has some work to do offensively. There's a pressure and the sack. It's Cameron Brown relentlessly pursuing the quarterback from the left side, and he's got himself another sack. Well, they didn't see it coming, not one bit. Kolopsky goes down in flames as Brown was all over that one. He is having himself a fine season. 2.5 sacks in the sophomore campaign for Cameron Brown, a first-year starter. And not to mention the fact that the Spartan defense graduated 7 starters from a year ago. So Geneva's offense has some work to do. The Spartan defense, they gave up the touchdown on the first drive of the game, But since then, we have not heard a peep scoring-wise from the Golden Tornadoes. So the Spartans were thrust into a low-scoring, running, defensive affair. That's the type of game that Geneva typically plays when they control the pace of the game. But I think you would most likely be willing to sacrifice pace for a lead. And the Spartans are up by 2 scores, so 1 score by Geneva will not be enough. It is 2nd and 17. There's a throw and knocked down. Was that Brown again? It was. He got a finger on that football. They just can't stop the sophomore Cameron Brown. Well, he brings it with speed, quickness, athleticism, versatility. At 6 foot 237, Cameron Brown has been all over the place and putting a halt to Geneva's offense. Interesting formation here. 4 receivers on the field, 2 on the side. This is an obvious passing situation and a catch. That was a pass rifled from Kalofsky to Nick Monteleone. But it's still a 4th down. That may have been the first pass play since the first half that the Tornadoes have gone with. 4th down and 2. Here we go. That 3-4 set. Spartans putting 9 guys in the box. The pitch, the option, nearly a fumble. Diving forward. And that is going to be awfully close. That's going to depend on the spot of the ball. What an effort, though, by the Golden Tornadoes. You see the pitch right there, keeping it away from Demery. The recovery by Monteleone, and look at this stretch right here. He may very well have been in bounds. And the officiating crew agrees. It's 1st and 10 from the 38. But the clock's still moving inside of 3 minutes to play. It's a rollout, a bootleg. Wanted to run, wanted to throw, has to run, and nowhere to go. Owen Williams getting the start for Case Western Reserve, and he gets in on the stop. There's another look at it. They wanted to throw there. Koloski, you could tell he really wanted to throw there, but the Spartans secondary has really played well here today. No options deep down the field. Taking a short break, 2.5 to play here at DeSanto Field.
Inspired by the 60s, Dave's Cosmic Subs is spreading love around the world 1 sub at a time. Voted the best in Cleveland, Dave's Cosmic Subs uses only the freshest ingredients, all wrapped in the history of rock and roll. Dave's Cosmic Subs are perfect for any occasion, especially your next Spartan athletics gathering. Visit Dave's Cosmic Subs Coventry or call 216-320-0330 for delivery. There's only one legendary sub, and that's Dave's.
Time is of the essence, and right now time is a good friend of the Spartans, who have a 9-point lead. And Geneva has a little bit of work to do here, as that pass falling short the intended target. Colton Boer, senior wide receiver. But the pass was far too low and it fell to the turf. Well, I think at this point, Geneva does know that they need a lot of yards in a short amount of time. So they're going to go to the pass again, and that is a catch. Very good footwork that time. Again, they went right back to Colton Boer, and that was well executed that time. A little out route, nice tight spiral. Devin Kalofsky probably in there because he's their most pass-oriented type quarterback, as Geneva really rotates 3 quarterbacks in there, but Kalofsky in there for the strength of his arm. Ball of the Spartan 49, looking left. good throw deep down the field. It is caught. Oh, and they said he was in bounds. Wow, what a catch there. Jamin Evans, the third-year man, going deep down the sideline. That didn't look like it had much of a chance because the throw was so close to the hashes, but look at that. Definitely didn't get 2 feet in, but he did get 1, and that's good enough. Boy, that was an excellent play, and that really changes the outlook of the game. Because now Geneva in an excellent position to score. But still, time is of the essence. Gino DeMarco, 24th year head coach, has to be thrilled with that pass that he saw from Kolofsky there. And as the Spartan defense tries to come up with a way to stop Geneva here, all of the pressure is still on the Tornadoes as it is a 2-score game. We're going to get another look at that long pass. That's probably the best pass of the game by either team. You see right there, wow. That left foot was in there, and a heck of a play by Evans. So they're 16 yards away, 1:58 to go. 4-receiver set. Looking left, throwing left, another catch. And pushed out of bounds before he could do anything. It was Evans yet again, back-to-back catches for the junior receiver. Boy, he's got some excellent size and very good speed for a receiver of his height. 2nd down. Spartans rushing 4. Gonna throw it up for the end zone. He got one hand on it, but it falls short. Well, they're going to try to hook up with Evans. That's the go-to guy in this situation. Defended by Kwan. And also in the area code was Daniel Fabinak, the junior free safety. And there is the first Geneva touchdown since the first possession of the night. As after all of those passes by Kolofsky, he calls his own number and goes in for the score. So they will go for 1. They've made it a 3-point deficit and now a 2-point deficit as the Spartans still ahead. But we've got an all-important onside kick presumably coming after this with just 1:54 left. The exciting conclusion of this game coming up. This game is on the line. Don't go anywhere.
In search of an extraordinary dining experience where you're certain to enjoy the ambiance as well as the menu? Table 45 Restaurant and Bar is the award-winning mixed culture restaurant located at the Intercontinental Cleveland, offering cuisine from around the world created by accomplished local chef Zach Brule. Open every day, the atmosphere at Table 45 is relaxed yet inspiring with weekday chill-out happy hours, a behind-the-scenes chef's table, and outdoor dining on Patio 45. Call for more details or reservations at 216-707-4045 or visit us at tbl45.com or on Facebook.
Well, all of a sudden things are interesting as Geneva gets their 2nd touchdown of the day. It's a 2-point game, but they're going to need an onside kick. The kicker is Andrew Dowler. There is a flag on the ground, and the Spartans pick it up. It was Brendan Lynch, the top receiver of the Spartans, coming away with it. And assuming the penalty going against Geneva, it will be Spartan football. Well, the Spartans come away with the big recovery there. So now, if you're the Tornadoes, you have to hope for a 3-and-out. But how likely are the Spartans to do that with 2 of the top 10 rushers in the President's Athletic Conference? This was a very different game from the rest for the Spartans. A triple option offense that the Spartans had not seen before. The 3rd ranked defense in the conference, and a very, very low scoring affair as compared to the 6 other games that we have seen this season. So ball protection is going to be key for Case Western Reserve as they go with Burke, one of the strongest runners, still trying to move forward. He just refused to go down right there, but the clock will continue to run. Thus far, Geneva has not elected to use that timeout. So now all eyes for Kuda are on that snap count. It is at 10, and luckily for him, there are play clocks on both sides of the field, so he will shrink it all the way down to 1. And Burke keeping it out of harm's way. Geneva, in this case, just has to go for the strip, and the only option is Burke, because he's one of their strongest runners, not only running the football, but protecting the football. And so the clock stops at 51. So Geneva takes a timeout, and we will step aside. The final 51 seconds coming up right after this.
Everyone loves a comeback, right? Especially when that comeback is Queso Diablo from Qdoba, full of spicy satisfaction to take you straight to queso bliss. That fiery, smoky sensation you've been craving has returned. Celebrate the comeback of Queso Diablo, available now and for an infinite time, only at Qdoba Mexican Grill.
Well, that's 3rd down and 4, 51 seconds to play, and the Spartans, if they get a first down, they will come away with a victory. If not, they can run the clock down to something inside of 15 seconds or so. But they have a 2-point lead and the football. And if they get 4 yards here, then you can pencil in a 7-0 start for Case Western Reserve. Kuda is on the field along with the fullback Aguilar and Kevin Burke in there as well. There's the trio. And they're just hoping to keep the ball out of harm's way. Anything but a penalty or a fumble would just about seal the deal here at DeSanto Field. The umpire having a word with the Spartan offensive line. It's Gage Blair, the center, had an outstanding game, the former St. Edward Eagle. Under center, 53 seconds to go. This is the game right here. Kuda trying to go forward. Gonna depend on the spot of the ball. Good news is the clock still runs. As the quarterback keeper by Kuda, he was able to thrust forward there for just a minute. But is it enough for the first? They're going to say no. They're going to say 4th down, as there's about a 9-second differential between the game clock and the snap clock. Spartans might be able to run it out here if they can make a long go of it. And Burke is stopped, and the clock stops with 6 seconds to go. So the Golden Tornadoes are not out of it yet. They will have maybe one chance. With 6 seconds to go, I would highly doubt you'd be able to get 2 plays. But it will all come down to this moment. And for Geneva, under senior quarterback Devin Koloski, they have gotten a little momentum in the passing game. Spartans will rush 3. Everybody else is in the secondary. 16-14, the Spartans lead. Koloski will throw it short. It's Marshall. Gets it to the 50. Pitches it back there. Another pitch back. The 4th one. And it's Brown who came up with the stop. Quan recovers it, and that will do it. Boy, they tried to do the Hail Mary of all Hail Marys right here, and it got them somewhere, but not what they needed to pull off the upset. Let's see, there was 1, 2, and the 3rd and final shovel pass, but it did not get the job done. The Spartans get the 1 stop that they need, and they are now 7-0 to start the season. Geneva falls to 2-5, and the Case Western Reserve Spartans continue to put themselves in a good position, setting themselves up for a possible run at the NCAA playoffs. Well, the Spartans will be at Wash U next week with a 12 o'clock kickoff, and then the next time you will see us will be November 12th for a date with Carnegie Mellon. That kickoff will be at 2 p.m. And one more look at the onside kick recovered. It was Zach Hurd who tipped it first, and Lynch bodied up that football to seal the deal. So the Spartans 7-0, and Geneva falls to 2-5. So I'd like to send out a couple special thank yous. First, going to Joe Durko, the commissioner of the President's Athletic Conference. Thank you very much, Joe, for sticking around and coming to visit us in the broadcast. Also on camera, Brian Trail and Reggie Carter, and replay is Davey Barris. And a special thanks as always going out to John Schwartz, Sports Information Director here at Case Western Reserve, as well as the Sports Information staff at Geneva for providing all of these statistics for us. Once again, the Spartans go to 7-0. They are a 16-14 winner over Geneva and will play at Wash U next week at 12. So for myself, I am Eddy Jansen saying thanks so much for being with us. The Spartans once again a winner, and good night from DeSanto Field.